Hi everyone! So I wanted to make a little video to go along with my recent mini tutorial that I posted on Instagram about how to draw gradients with brush pens. I think it'll just be much easier for me to show you through video than through pictures. So for this tutorial I'm going to be using my Arteza brush markers, but you can use any brush markers that you have. And I'll be using my Arteza mixed media pad. And the trick for these gradients to work really well is to use good quality paper. So any mixed media or watercolor paper will work really well. Alright, let me just dive right in. Alright, so to get started, you need a very light sketch of your letter first. So the way that I like to do this is I like to first draw it on a different sheet of paper and then use my light pad to trace just the outlines onto my final sheet of paper. Then you want to select your colors. So I selected these 5 colors. Mainly I want to go from this pink to this blue, and because they're so different, the gradient is going to end up looking really muddy and harsh in between them if I just use the 2 colors. So I like to pick as many colors as I can that'll kind of join the 2 colors in between. So I go from the most pink looking purple to the most blue purple, and that way I kind of combine them into a much smoother gradient. Then you want to divide the letter into however many parts as you have colors. So I have 5 colors, so I want to kind of visually divide my letter into 5 parts where each of these colors is going to go. And you want to start top to bottom. So I'll start with my first color, and I'll just fill in the top section, and I'll end it right around here, and that's going to be my first dividing line. So I'm going to fill in the top. If I had more than one letter, usually I'll work with a whole word or phrase. I would do the top color for the whole thing, and then I would go letter by letter, adding the other colors. Actually, I'll go a little bit lower. Okay, now I take my second color, and a good way to blend them is to kind of make your first color a little bit wet still. So I'll add a little bit of it here, and then immediately I'll take my second color and I'll overlap it into the first color. And you kind of keep using these 2 pens at the same time, and that way you can create a much smoother transition here. So I'll use my pink here, and then I'll overlap the purple into it. And this is why it's so important to use good paper, because you're going to be adding all this ink on top of ink, and eventually any thin paper is going to start breaking down. It's going to clump up, or it's going to warp under your ink. So you want to make sure that the paper is thick enough to handle all this ink. So I'm going to go with my second color up to about here, put my first color away, and picking up my third color, I'll add some ink, and then I'll overlap. And now this color, see how it's a little bit darker now? So this is where you're going to be going in multiple times with both colors, trying to blend them out. I'll add some more here and overlap. And don't be afraid to keep overlapping the colors, and don't be scared that you're going to ruin your markers either. I've had some people ask me if doing gradients like this ruins markers because of color transfer. I've been doing this for a long time and I've never had a problem, to be honest. And that's because if you ever do have color transfer, let's say this lighter color gets a little bit of dark blue on it, all you do is you take an extra sheet of paper and you just kind of scribble it out, and it'll start off, you'll see the color transfer, and then by the end you'll just have the original color back on the paper. So I've never had a problem with my markers getting ruined. So don't worry about that. I'm going to add this third color up here because my top section kind of ends right here, my third section. picking up my fourth color and going in. And you see, the best way to do this is to get colors that kind of are similar already. That way they create a much smoother transition. These two colors, this one's a little bit more purple and this one's a little bit more blue. So they don't look too different, so it's very, very easy to blend them together, but the end result, going from a bright pink to a bright blue, is going to just look much nicer and smoother. Oops. Ruined that one, but that's okay. And I'll pick up my last color. And overlap into here. And add some ink. And then once you're done, you can just go back in and fix any little parts that you need to with any of the colors. Because you'll see once the ink's dry, they might create a bit of a harsh line here and there, so you can just go back in and fix whatever needs fixing. And that's it.